Hello, I just came back from Portugal, and in this video, I will be talking about what I learned and what you can do to maximize your time there. So let's get started. Portugal is an underrated country to visit in Europe. I mean, you got Italy, France, the UK, but really, if you want seafood, you should seriously consider visiting Portugal. I've never seen seafood dishes so creative before. I mean, yeah, so I spent 6 nights in Lisbon and another in Porto, and these are the places to be. It'd be an understatement to say that the food's good. Lisbon, its capital, is the prime destination for their staple, the bacalhau abras, aka cod with onions and potatoes. You got the pastel de nata, a wonderful pastry. You also have a pork sandwich called the bifana, an Anthony Bourdain favorite. Uh, so restaurants to try. So I would say if you arrive and are crunched for time, I would suggest going to the Time Out Market. That place is jam packed with many competing restaurants and it's always busy. So you can be sure that the food will come out fresh. But to be safe though, I would still check out blogs and reviews on Google Maps to kind of get a gauge on like what you're comfortable trying. The best restaurants over there, well, the best one, in my opinion, is called Miguel Castro y Silva. And other restaurants that I thought were good are Patio Barro do Avilas and Casa de India. Yes, they serve Portuguese food. For the best pastel de nata, I would recommend going to Pastéis de Belém, Montegoria, or Fabrica de Nata. In my opinion, after trying all three, I think that Pastéis de Belém is the best. Although some other people claim that Montegoria is the best, so I advise you, if you were to try any two, it'd be those two. Also, I'd advise doing a food tour with this company called Devour Tours. They're fantastic. They have spaces of operation even in parts of the US. You could look them up. So I would say do both a food tour and a photo tour with Devour. I did 5 tours total in Lisbon, and I think you only need 3. So on TripAdvisor, a top side tour for Lisbon is the Cascais, Sintra, and Cabo de Roca tour. All of that is one tour. Then you have Nazaré, the Nazaré, Obidos, Fatima, and Batalha tour. Those are the most popular side tours on TripAdvisor for Lisbon. Honestly, after doing both, I feel that only the former is necessary. Because for the 4 cities, you essentially get dropped off and the tour guide just talks to you for about 15 minutes tops, then lets you go, wander off for an hour or so, and then get picked up, yada, yada, yada. I'd say because of that and the fact that the destinations aren't really in my mind too significant, that I would just say that you're best off just picking that other tour, the former one. So yeah, the former one with Sintra, Cascais, Cabo de Roca is more picturesque. You got Cabo de Roca. So people thought until Christopher Columbus happened that the westernmost part of the world was actually Cabo de Roca, which is awesome to see in and of itself. And if that's not enough, the tour guide in Sintra gives you a nice history lesson and is one of the best views in Sintra. Sintra has one of the best views outside of Lisbon in Portugal. So that's great as well. And so yeah, I did 2 food tours, 2 side trips, and 1 photo tour. But really, overall, you just need the Sintra, Cascais, and Cabo de Roca side tour from TripAdvisor. So that's 1 tour. Then you just need the food tour and photo tour from Devour Tours. So 3 from Lisbon. And yes, I would recommend the photo tour. When I tried it, it was relatively new in the Devour Tours repertoire of things to do. And thus, to me, that was a risk, but it paid off immensely. You are thinking about using this event as a way to go out on a date with someone, don't even think about it, just do it. And if you aren't going on a date, this tour will inspire you to. Next, sightseeing. I would say go to any one of the beaches just a little south outside of Lisbon. Also, I would walk to go see the Belém Tower, the Geronimos Monastery, and the Triumphal Arch. Things I didn't see in Lisbon but should have, the Santa Justa lift, and the Castelo de São Jorge. Following your stay in Lisbon, I recommend taking a train to Porto. My dad took a rental car to drive me and my sister over, and along the way, there were many unforeseen delays and learning curves with all the roundabouts and all. So yeah, just take your train. Speaking of which, let's talk about Porto. So some people I've talked to in Portugal say that Lisbon has lost all of its authenticity, I would say, due to tourism. And so they came to the conclusion mostly that Porto can be considered in comparison better. But once I got there, I was immediately wowed. I actually got back from the trip preferring Porto over Lisbon when it was all said and done. And so, yeah, the architecture was breathtaking. I mean, to give some context, one of the main bridges in the city was made by Gustave Eiffel, the guy you could probably guess made the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Additionally, a student of his own made another bridge next to it. That's the most famous bridge in. The three clips that follow have unique angles of this very bridge for further illustration. Hope you enjoy them. So for food, I would recommend the francesinha, which reminds me of a croque madame, if you like that sort of thing. Their bifana, because in comparison to Lisbon, they actually have a unique way of making it that I think you might like better. And the bacalhau com natas. Listen, this last dish I just mentioned is as close to Portuguese mac and cheese as it's going to get. For restaurants, I would recommend trying a place called Braçal Calicio, another one called Postigo do Carvalho, and Tapa Bento. The first of which you should reserve for. Second and third you can probably get in, but I mean from experience, I was able to barely get in by like one table. So probably reserve for each of those just to be safe. And so for tours, I would recommend just doing the complete Douro Valley wine tour with lunch. This is because Porto is very known for wine, and a reason I even contemplated visiting this city was that though I myself don't drink, I know that wine cities tend to have great food, and yeah, they tend to be fantastic. So yeah, I mean, look at Napa Valley. I don't recommend doing any food tour on top of that because I think that Lisbon and Porto are similar enough to the point where there's at least some overlap. If you are feeling a little insecure due to not having a lot of tours in the city, then you could do a private tour that helps you do some exploring. I was tempted to do so myself, but I got burnt out from doing the 5 tours back in Lisbon. Hence why I say you should do only 3 in that location. In this case, the cliche less is more is very fitting. For sightseeing in this city, I would say explore all the good-looking views revolving around the main bridge. That is the Dom Luiz Bridge that you saw in the past clips of the angles that I took. The city is smaller than Lisbon, so there's going to be overall less to check out. But if you are a Harry Potter fan, then you can check out the Majestic Cafe, where J.K. Rowling wrote parts of her Harry Potter books from. Because of her fame, it's packed full of people there, so be warned. Lastly, I would say that if you are pushed for time, put at least 5 nights into Lisbon, another 4 into Porto. Overall, I thought that Portugal was an amazing experience. And if you decide to give this country a shot, you will not regret it. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.